Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's the easy one.
It's easy. Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather be in jail for 5 years or be in a coma for a decade? That's a tough one.
Gosh, put me in jail. Outside of college, I there was a lot of alcohol consumption in London.
In London, yeah.
There was a lot. And I will tell you, it's really interesting you asked about culture. You know, when I was there 20 years ago, I felt like the difference in cultures were much more defined between like what the states, like beverages drank or what food you eat or what music or, you know, but when we went back, God, I think it was three or 4 years ago now. I think it was right before COVID.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Not that I plan on going to those places.
Yeah, no, you're going to go to the Middle East, but yeah. Well, but you were in the military. Were you were in the military?
Yeah, I was in the Navy.
Were you deployed in the Middle East?
I was not. So I was actually in the Navy band. And those bands do deploy.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of With the Boys podcast. Today I have a great guest. I know I say that all the time, but this guy is really great, you know. So his name is Dave Pollack. He's a good friend of mine. He's owner of Soul Home Escondido. So he provides solar services and he is growing rapidly in the whole area of San Diego. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, man. It was nice to have you. We kind of been trying to plan it out for a while now, but we finally got you here. I know you're busy. Thank you for sharing some of your time with us today. So, you know, I like to start the podcast with the icebreaker. So I like to do the Would You Rathers just to kind of get into the mood and stuff like that. So don't expect a lot from these questions. I just pulled them out from Google. So yeah, I'm just warning you that you want to hear some. I haven't read any of them, so let's see what happens. All right. Have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the future.
Another way to ask that is, do you care more about yourself and your experience or the experience of others 150 years from now, right? 'Cause
yeah.
I'm not going to be around to see it.
Exactly.
You know, gosh, I selfishly would have to go with the 10 minutes.
The 10 minutes.
Because, man, if I could think of a lot of times where I wish I knew what was going to happen
in 10
minutes,
happen.
right?
Yeah, true. But I mean, you can also work your way around that, right, to make it good in a way.
Yeah, I guess.
No? I mean, 10 minutes is a long time if you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 10 minutes is long. Man, sometimes I wish I had 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
You know?
Yeah. Sometimes all you need is 10 seconds to react. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Like if you're doing a deal and it's gonna benefit all, not just you, but it also benefits your employees. You know, and also you have a service that you know is good.
Right. Also
benefit the client. So it's just a matter of like.
It'd be better. I think it'd be better for everybody if we could just read each other's minds.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Just know it's like, just tell me what you're really
just
feeling.
What you really think.
Let's just save each other a lot of time, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that will be odd. Because there's a lot of things that I think that I don't mean. Sometimes, you know.
I could see that. So yeah, maybe it would be best if it was a little filtered.
Yeah, a little filter. Yeah, because
gotcha.
There's a lot of things, thoughts that just came to my mind, but I don't really feel that way. So that sometimes it's like I think before I talk.
Oh, gotcha.
You get me? So, so like, okay, do I really feel that way? And you're like, nah, I really like this guy. He's just annoying me in the moment.
No. Okay. Well, hopefully that's not me.
No. Somebody else. All right, so let's move to the next one. Would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds? Oh, what were you saying about that?
Oh, I think we just answered that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, if you could read
telepathy, yeah.
Well, telekinesis would be cool.
Yeah, imagine just like you save a lot of labor here. There you go.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Right?
Like Jedi mind tricks, right?
Just like the solar panels.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go.
Just plop them there, tighten them down.
That's it,
Check, please.
Just share your power with a few of your employees and you guys set.
That would be, yes, that would
be dope, right?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, you should hire only Jedis.
Yeah.
Your company.
That's right.
Like veterans, but Jedis,
Jedi veterans, that's right.
Yeah, all right, so.
Jedis need jobs too.
Jedis need jobs too, now that the Empire is taking over, man. I've been watching Obi-Wan Kenobi. I really started watching it this week, so that's what I'm like, I might throw some reference there.
I just finished up the recent season of The Mandalorian.
Oh, so is it?
I'm with you, man.
There's so many now. It's hard to keep up for me sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's good stuff.
I'm a huge like geek, you know. I like Star Wars, comic books, and all that.
Well, that's why we get along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. See, the force is strong in us.
Yeah.
So it's like I like to watch all those things, and I used to be. I remember back in college, I used to be like on it all the time. Like, oh, this is coming out, reading books, like side stories and all that stuff, and even with the anime, keeping up with the cartoons stuff because some of that's like canon.
It's part of the story.
Yeah.
You have to see it or else you're going to be lost.
Exactly. So it's like a lot of the like Obi-Wan here, like the series. I've like the Inquisitors. They show up in the anime. They don't show up in any movie.
You're right. You have to watch. I think that's in Star Wars Rebels.
Rebels,
The
yeah,
Inquisitors show up.
with that. What's the name of the kid?
Ezra Bridger.
Ezra. Yeah, there you go.
So you're testing my geekness.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now on Star
I'm
Wars,
testing you. Testing.
Did
Good.
I think I passed.
Yeah, I was just like testing you. You know. But yeah, so they show up there, but and they're like pretty dangerous there, right?
They're very dangerous.
Yeah. So it's like now I see them and Obi-Wan. I'm like, I know these guys. I know what they're all about. You know?
Yeah.
If you're new to the series or never watched the Rebels, you were like, what the heck are you? Do you know there were seats on the working for Darth Vader? But now you know.
Yeah.
And why? And also I think explains why there's not Inquisitors on New Hope.
That's right. Yeah, they kind of wrapped that up and put a button on it. And
they kind of got rid of them, like they were finished. So that's why when New Hope shows up, when Luke Skywalker shows up, there's no Inquisitors anymore.
That's right.
Because they were all eliminated.
Well, they don't even mention them.
Yeah, they don't even mention it because they were all eliminated.
That's
right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got deep into that conversation.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. Would you rather find true love today or win the lottery next year?
Well, since I've already found my true love,
The lottery.
speak out or speak. Yeah, what? Not speak out. What's a shout out?
Shout out
my wife,
to the wife. Yeah.
Jessica. But yeah, I'll go with the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I have found true love too. So.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
that's the easy one.
It's easy. Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather be in jail for 5 years or be in a coma for a decade? That's a tough one.
Gosh, put me in jail.
Heck yeah, me
You
too.
know, as long as it's like not, federal.
Prison.
Yeah, I was gonna reference an Office Space quote.
Yeah.
I don't know how vulgar I can get on the.
Just give
on the
as
podcast.
you can guess vulgar as you want. You know, it's a free
Well, I
podcast
think the
here.
quote was the federal. It was Michael Bolton didn't want to go to federal pound me in the ass prison. As long as it's not that, he was cool with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, yeah. I think I'll pick prison as well, like jail, because
Well, then you got 5 years left still.
yeah, because you can be somewhat productive, right? Like you can find ways, like I don't know, find Jesus. And
It should be the other way. It should be like, would you rather 5 years coma or 10 years prison, maybe?
yeah,
Because you're still awake for 5. I don't know.
yeah. But 10 years coma is a long time.
That's a long time.
You just wake up. In your mind, you're like the same person from 10 years ago, but your body is just not.
Right. Well, that's something to consider, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's that question needs clarifying.
Yeah.
Do you have the same body? Is it
You have
just
the
like
same
it was
body.
like the blip, like Marvel,
Avengers, like
like
Endgame?
that? Was it that? You just come back and you're good,
And you go, yeah, that's true.
because that matters.
That matters. It
Right.
does. Yeah. Bleep place matters. Yeah, that's funny. I was trying to make a reference there for Endgame, but that's.
Boy, we're just getting all Disney, Star Wars.
I know it's getting.
That's
I like it though.
out, huh?
I
Yeah.
like these conversations.
Okay.
I don't mind them at all.
Cool.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, that's yeah. I'll go for prison though. I think I can be more productive there. Just find Jesus and just like find another. You can study there too, for what I
That's
heard.
right.
You can do several things, right?
As long as you have your mind.
Yeah, stab a few people
Mhm.
just to survive.
Oh, jeez.
Just to survive. All right. So, would you rather have another 10 years with your partner, or one night stand with your celebrity crush?
Oh, yeah. This is also easy. Partner all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Me too.
I don't know if I need to explain why.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, one night stand with the celebrity is like, I'm pretty sure.
I think I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't think
Not worth
she's even
10
that good. Yeah. You know. All right. So, would you rather be chronic, like constantly underdressed or overdressed? So constantly being like overdressed, underdressed, or overdressed.
Well, I guess underdressed because that's kind of what I do anyway. You might fall. You dress nicer than me. Let's
We use
just
different
put that
fields
out
too.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you work
and
on
it
the
works for you.
yeah,
You know, this is my uniform,
exactly.
right?
Because you're in the field.
That's right.
Yeah, you dress accordingly to your industry. That
Right.
I don't think anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
You know.
I guess underdressed. You know, but
No,
I can get away with it because of my profession.
yeah, because you go to you're like on the field sometimes, and also it's construction stuff like that. So
Right.
if you dress, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not like dressed even that nice, I think, but like this is just like somebody sees me walking around, they're like, "Who's this guy?" You know. But they see you walking in, it's like, "Oh, that guy knows what he's talking
Right,
about."
right, right,
like
right,
me, it's
right.
like, "What are you saying? Shut up! You don't know nothing about solar."
Yeah, I think that question is very industry dependent.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I show up with a suit, and I'm selling like, and I'm doing solar stuff, like, why?
This dude's weird.
Yeah, right.
They
It's
expect
like
to see more of this. I think.
more. Yeah, exactly. Like yeah, it makes people feel like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Right, or he's relatable.
He's relatable.
because it's a sales thing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was easy too. Would you rather lose sight or your memories? That's an easy for me. Yeah,
Sight.
yeah,
Oh man, you got to keep your memories.
yeah,
I mean, that kind of defines who you are, right?
yeah. It's kind of like
Yeah.
if you forget like traumas. I mean, not that traumas are good, but
Yeah,
they
well,
kind of are. You know,
Yeah, it
builds you.
it does. Yes, you can't be who you are without learning how to overcome those traumas or
Life lessons. Yeah.
right maybe those memories you wish you didn't have. But the reality is that I think most people, if not everybody, has
Some of those. Yeah,
right?
and they kind of builds the character. In a
It
way.
does. Yeah. Without those, who's Dave,
Exactly.
right?
Right. Yeah,
You
you will
know.
be a completely new person.
And then if you lose your sight, that stinks and everything. But at least you'd have the memories
Yeah,
of what sight was.
it was exactly. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that was an easy. All right. So two more in that, and then we keep going. So, would you rather have universal respect or unlimited power?
Unlimited power. It's like the genie,
Yeah.
Aladdin. Yeah, I think I would go with the respect.
Respect.
I think I would sleep better at night.
Yeah. I don't know what we'll do with unlimited power. It's
Yeah.
too much for me.
You know what I would do with unlimited power?
What?
Gain unlimited respect.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
But well, I mean, unlimited power. I think that's too much for me. I think. I don't. To me, unlimited power is like godlike
Right.
being. I don't think like any human is like mentally.
No, you could destroy Earth.
Yeah.
One person.
One person and like, yeah, it's just too much. Like I don't think we are adapt for that kind of power.
No.
Like
Right. Very tiny brains.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll destroy the whole system like easily. Yeah, we'll go crazy. I think I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
With that much power. Yeah, I agree with that.
You would yeah.
The other
You
thing
would drive yourself crazy
yeah,
and everybody else.
The closest thing I can think of is Thanos going back to comic books.
There you go.
Just like believe half of the universe, just like that.
Doesn't get much more powerful than that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That wasn't good.
I don't want that. Yeah. I mean, but he has a good. I mean, I don't agree with what he did, but in the movies. But his theory, like was like, okay, I can see what you're saying, but still,
Right. He thinks he can fix it
yeah,
by eliminating.
half.
Right.
It's like, but that's a lot.
And it goes back to, you have to let people make their own mistakes and let nature run its course rather than having,
Yeah.
basically nuking it and wiping it all out,
Yeah,
right?
everything, yeah.
Then you forgot everything. It's just going to happen again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because they're gonna populate.
1,000 years from now, it's I gotta click my fingers again.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So yeah, it doesn't solve anything.
Doesn't
in the long
solve. Yeah. Maybe build more resources.
run. Yes, that's right. Now we're gonna get into politics now.
Right. Maybe he couldn't just like snap his
Yeah.
finger and quadruple the resources.
There you go.
know?
Yeah.
And every whatever years.
Yeah,
he
that
can
would be
just do that.
a much nicer thing to do.
Yeah,
if you had that much power.
Exactly, and it's not even as hard, right? It's just like, oh, okay.
See, we should be writers.
We should be writers because
Solved it.
that was too extreme. I think he just liked to kill people. You know, Thanos. He's like, oh, doing it for because you couldn't just like, oh, here's more vegetables. Here's more like resources general for everyone.
Like, no, I'm gonna go with mass murder instead.
Yeah, with mass murder.
I
think that's
that'd
it.
be better. Yeah.
That's the best way to solve this problem. Like, oh, but you can increase the resources in the whole universe, and everybody will be like way better. Nah. Let me just kill half of it.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah.
Too much work.
Too much work. Yeah, but the Avengers did good.
They did.
They bring everybody back.
That was
Shout
good
out!
writing.
Shout out to Hulk.
Man, we were just all over this Disney stuff today.
I know we're all on it. We're on it. Okay, last one. All right. Would you rather give up air conditioning and heating for the rest of your life, or give up internet for the rest of your life? Your life. I can think of. I think of Conor McGregor when I hear that. Rest of your life.
Life. I am an air conditioning and heating guy. That's one of our services, and
Yeah.
I nerd out on
That's
that
why I
stuff. I really do. I love
Air conditioning.
that whole refrigeration process is one of the other things I nerd out on,
Yeah.
other than Disney stuff.
Disney stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, the internet sometimes feels like a burden.
Sometimes.
It's a double-edged sword, right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of great information out there, and maybe sometimes I miss the days when I was a kid and I had to, bust out the Encyclopedia Britannica to research something. And,
Yeah.
because the internet, you're always, especially like what we do, you're just kind of expected to always be connected. And online.
Yeah.
and,
Just always checking.
Sometimes I really hate that.
Yeah.
to be honest, I'd rather
It can be tiring.
be in the moment, especially with my family, and but it's at the same time it's really hard for me to just turn it off. 'Cause
Yeah.
then I feel like I'm not there for the customers
For the customer or the
for-
clients.
Yeah, or for my employees.
Family. Yeah.
So
True.
yeah, I would have to go with keep the heating and cooling. Internet. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. True. That's a tough one. I mean, I got adapt to air conditioning here in the U.S., but when I was in Mexico, I didn't have any of those things.
You
so
could probably live without it. Huh?
I can live
You
without
keep
it.
the internet.
Yeah, I think I keep the internet because I mean that's kind of I kind of need it.
That's kind of your jam, right?
That's kind of what my business runs,
Yeah.
But I see the disadvantages of not having air conditioning. Yeah, it's very hot.
Well, actually, if you want to really nerd out, there are more places in the world now where they have these events where there's actually just too much humidity and too much heat where the body cannot survive
What?
on its own. Yeah, like if you were outdoors. I forget what part of the world. I remember seeing there was a couple in the Middle East. There was like a map with these little hot spots where it's literally too humid and too hot for your body to sweat to actually do its own
Its
evaporative
job.
cooling to do its job. The sweat will not evaporate to cool your body.
What?
It's too humid. Yeah, you will die. If you're out long enough, you have to have air
You
conditioning.
have to have air conditioning.
So there's an argument.
Okay, to save your life.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
That
Never heard of
yeah,
that.
it's more. There's because of climate change, whatever.
Climate change.
They're showing there's actually more of these events happening.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's insane. I never
That's
heard of that
insane.
before.
Yep.
So that's like a dead zone.
Even though it's a dead zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you're sweating, it's not evaporating.
evaporating,
You're
so
not,
you
you overheat.
and
You
dehydrate.
overheat. You cook your brain.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, I think it's over 104 degrees.
Woo.
If your body temperature reaches that,
Yeah.
it's like permanent brain damage.
104. Yeah, that's like when then you had like fever. That's kind of like when
That's when they start getting concerned.
that's when you had to like take care of.
That is the thing. So I'll keep my air conditioning.
Wow. Yeah.
Not
Well,
that I plan on going to those places. but
Yeah, no,
you
you
never
went
know.
to go to the Middle East, but yeah. Well, but you were in the military. Were you
I
were
was
in the military?
Yeah, I was in the Navy.
Were you deployed in the Middle East?
I was not. So I was actually in the Navy band.
Okay.
And those bands do deploy and go on missions in Africa and, Asia as well. I was not in that particular command. I was here in San Diego on North Island. Basically, the best duty you could ask for. It was pretty easy.
It was pretty easy.
I was not. So, yeah, I was deployed to, Ridgecrest, China Lake, or we went to Sacramento to play a ceremony or something.
Okay.
So really,
nothing
nowhere near the
crazy.
Middle East.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. But you can choose, right? Like, is that something you can pick that you where to go?
You have a little bit of say, but the detailer is the guy or girl who determines who goes where and who rotates where. So you can put in requests, but the needs of the Navy always take precedent.
Yeah, okay. Because I have a friend, well, he was in the Army, and he went to Germany for a couple.
Yep. I had a friend. Months. I had a couple of friends in the Army in Germany.
In Germany, yeah. Okay, Germany, Japan, also. Where else? Middle East, Afghanistan, right? I think that's the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still there?
Yep. Yeah. I think they pulled a lot of those forces back, if I remember. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. So what makes you join the military?
Well, I was a trombone player, and I was looking for full-time employment with benefits.
Okay.
And that's one of the few jobs where you don't have to be an insanely world-class musician to get into. No offense, military musicians out there. I considered myself a good musician. I was on tour with a Broadway show and did a show in London where I met my wife. Nice. So I was fairly proficient at keeping employed. But, you can only tour and run around the world so much before you want to settle down with a family. I was in my 20s doing that, and I was like, this is not sustainable, at least to me, if, you wanted to have kids and create a community around you. So, which is ironic that I joined the military because they move you, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out my military career, I only stayed in for 4 years because I just didn't want to spend another 16 years doing that.
Yeah.
And doing the whole movie. It was the time where I had to re-up, like, hey, are you going to do another 4 years? And I think they wanted to send me to Japan. And I said, you know what? I don't.
Wow.
I like what I've built here, and that's when I started getting really into construction. So.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I didn't know you were, I think you kind of mentioned that you were a musician, but you never, told me you were, in a Broadway play.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, nice. So, Broadway, clarify this to me, because excuse my ignorance. So, when someone says, I was in a Broadway play, my first thought is you were in New York.
Right.
Okay.
So this show played on Broadway. How about that? Yeah, and if a show plays on Broadway, you're a Broadway show.
Got
right. It. So I was not on Broadway. So the show was on Broadway. It was called Blast.
Okay.
It was basically, brass drum and bugle corps on stage. This is 20 years ago now. It was very popular, especially with the drum and bugle corps community and high school marching band kids.
Yeah.
But it was so successful on Broadway, they did a North American tour. We actually went to Canada too. So we played major markets,
nice.
LA, Orange County, San Diego, of course, everything. Denver, Chicago, all the major markets.
Nice.
The tour. That was cool.
That's dope, man. That's very exciting. I was in a Grease play on my 20s too. I was not a musician, but I was one of the dancers. And
get out of here.
Yeah, I was one of the dancers. It's funny how I got that gig, dude. It's just hilarious. Going on a little tangent here. So I got the gig because they were doing this play and they were doing rehearsals. And this friend of mine was in that. One of the producers was there producing that. So he asked me. I was in college at the time, but I was already getting involved with filming and recording and social media and all that. So he kind of just come over, shoot some content for us, we'll pay you, I was like, Yeah, I'm down. So I went there. I record for. I remember like they rehearse like almost every day. Almost every day. I remember. So
This is in college.
this thing, yeah.
Okay.
But it was they rehearse in L.A. So I remember that I would go record. I started talking to people. Showing personalities. Like some people like me. So one of the people that they hire, one of the dancers, they hire quit or something happened. So they needed someone to replace him, at least for the rehearsals until they find someone. And then I was there, I was done with what I was doing, and they were like, "Can you just fill the spot, just for now?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I'm not like a professional dancer." He's like, "Just fill the spot, just fill the spot."
Yeah, you are now.
and yeah, and I just fill the spot. When we get the dancer, you can just come down.
So have you had dance training?
I mean, in the streets.
Okay, all right, got it. Hey, that counts. That's more than I have. You don't want to see me dance.
No. no. You're like,
No, not so much.
You're like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, I should not be paid to dance.
Well, I have rhythm, since I'm a little kid, I'm Mexican, for the ones that don't know by now. But now you guys know. So we are very festive, and we dance, listen to music. So I have rhythm, and I used to like break dance and things like that, in middle school and high school and stuff like that, but never like actually being a play. So I was like, okay, I'll take this spot. So what happened was that I memorized all the choreography on like in a week and a half, because I was like, I was having a good time. I was enjoying it. So what happened was they never hired the other person, the other dancer, and they asked me like, the dances now. You look good when you're doing it. Stay. We pay you instead. And I was like, wait, hold on. Let me see if I'm understanding. You asked me to fill the space just for like a week or so while you get a professional dancer. I memorized everything because I kind of like it. It was fun.
Yeah.
So I did again and Jack, and I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well enjoy it now.
Right.
But now you're asking me to be in the play, like you want me to be in front of
this is for Greece.
For Greece, yeah, life, yeah, and they were like, yeah. Have you ever been stage before? Like, not like this,
Yeah.
And I remember that I thought about it for like, I don't know, like 30 seconds, and then I was like, fuck it. I mean, let's do it.
That's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, and I did it, and it came out good. Like we traveled like in the state in the California, just California, but didn't got to the chance to go anywhere else. But at least I got to go to different like theaters and like people.
Get out of here! That is so
cool.
And
I even like by the third show, because we did like about 7, 8. By the third show, they got me and another guy to like have a solo dance.
So you were like featured?
I was just having a great time.
Are you still doing? You still have a dancing career?
No.
No, that was it. That was the one off.
That was the one off. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be the next episode.
Right, the next episode. Yeah, no, I mean, I thought about it for a little bit. It's like, is this something I want to do? But then I was like, no, I don't. I might have like other kind of ambitions, other goals.
Been there, done that, did it.
Yeah, but I did it. It was fun. I was blessed to be in front of people, because the whole theater sold out. So I was just like trying to not break the fourth wall,
right.
Learning that.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah,
when you're doing it right now. We're doing it right now, right? Yeah. We're essentially being used to having, all eyes or ears.
Yeah.
On you and being okay with that.
Correct.
We're just literally putting yourself out there.
Putting yourself out there.
I think that was my biggest takeaway of like when I did it. I think, it starts with a certain type of personality of not minding being looked at or heard if you do have to speak in front of an audience. But, being exposed to it, like if you're not naturally like that, exposure therapy, right? Like, hey, we'll just do it more.
Yeah.
And you just get used to it, and it's no big deal. Because I know there's a lot of people that are just could be terrified. Like, I'm going to be a dancer in Greece and have a solo.
Dude,
like that that doesn't sit too well with me right now, to be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah.
as from the dancing perspective. But
Yeah.
no, I think it's very important. And, if you can do that, and be able to do like just public speaking, or,
Yeah.
I think it does command a lot of respect. And you become a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
If you're willing to put yourself out there. And that crosses over into like what we do, like with YouTube. Or,
Yeah.
you're not just somebody behind a website. You're putting yourself out there as an expert.
Yeah.
And
On your field.
right. It's like, man, there's documented videos of this guy saying, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to hold you accountable.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember like the first play, we did it in Anaheim. There was it's a big theater there.
Where was this?
Anaheim, the very
Anaheim.
first play. Yeah, Anaheim. We did it in Anaheim by where the stadium's at, the Angels.
The Angels Stadium.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the theater is like in that area. It's a big one, and I forgot the name of the theater, but I remember that because I show in all the choreographers, almost all of them, besides the individual ones from the main characters. That those sometimes if they're just one on one, I don't. But besides any other dance, I was in it, so I remember the opening dance. That was a feeling that I never felt before. I was like, the curtains were down, never done it. Everybody else there, they had done it several times.
Right, they're just doing the little pre-show kind of rituals they do backstage.
Like, whatever they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sounds and all that stuff. And they were like, you can tell that they've done it before. They're nervous, but you can tell like
they have a way to deal with that. Yeah,
I have no idea.
like, oh God, I know this is gonna happen.
Yeah,
what am I supposed to do?
Dude, so one of the tips or advice that I got from one of the guys there, he's like, it's the first time? He's like, yeah, it was only my first time. He's like, okay, this is my tip. Don't look at people. Don't look at them. Don't engage with them. Look straight, like
look to the back of the house.
Like a way,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't listen to them. Try not to. So just focus your ears to the music, right? In that part, I didn't have any issues because in boxing, that's kind of what you do, right? When I used to do I do a few mature fights. So what I did there was that you kind of had to block the people around you and just focus on your coach.
Right.
So that's the only voice that you hear. Unless the fighter is talking crap to you, But
I mean, these are all life lessons. Just cutting through the noise and focusing on really what matters in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of that just comes with experience.
Yeah. Dude, when the curtains went up, it has a name. I forget the name of the things, but when they went up and everybody started like, I felt it here, man.
Butterflies.
Oh God, Jesus. Okay, I prayed the whole dance. The whole dance I was praying. You're dancing. You're like, God, please help me.
Yes. Okay. Like one move at a time, right?
Yeah, one
you
move at a
still
time.
remember some of the choreography.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So thank God I didn't mess up because they called me again for the second play. For the tour.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, I passed.
That is cool.
Yeah. So that's a nice side story, but. Going back to you, so you did Broadway. You play music there. Was it a trombone too?
It was trombone.
Trombone. Okay. So one of the beautiful things about that is that you get to travel around like different states, right? Different cities and things like that. I think that's something that I kind of love about what this industry, or at least what we do. That we get to do those kind of, traveling. We went to Canada, in New York. That's one of the places like I want to go. In Canada, Ontario is like, oh, I want to go to that city. That's for sure. So you said that you decided to join the military because you needed like a more stable, right?
Right.
You were planning already like on building a family. So you met your wife in London.
Yeah, we actually met in Indiana where we were teching the show that we were launching in London, but. We lived in London, I think, for about 5 or 6 months. Yeah.
How's that?
It was amazing.
Living in London. Yeah.
It wasn't real life. I mean, I was kind of old. Was I? I think it was 22 at the time.
Wow.
And then I turned 23. I think we were there. I mean, that's, it's, yeah, it just felt like, yeah, it just wasn't real life.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it, because you have that experience. And, we were traveled in Europe when we were there.
Yeah.
At that time we were just dating.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a courtship. Hey, we're going to go to Venice this weekend. Let's go to Paris for Christmas.
Wow.
Stuff like that. And then you quickly realize, when when that show is over and you got to go back to the States.
Yeah.
That's that was something special.
Yeah.
That doesn't, come around all the time.
That's awesome, man. That's 5 months.
Yeah.
Almost half a
Yeah,
year.
it was great. It was, I mean, we did hundreds of shows, but the days that we were dark, we would just hop on one of the budget airlines, Ryanair or EasyJet, super cheap flights, take you over. I remember we went to Ireland as well. And then, we would take the train, just explore the English countryside.
Nice.
And it was amazing. It was so amazing that, now that I'm in a position where I have the time and money to go back there. We've gone a couple of times. We've taken the kids back.
Wow.
We took the kids to London. Hey, this is where mommy and daddy, this is where we used to live. And
nice.
Here's our theater, which is now, Les Mis is in that theater now. Wow. It was called the Queen's Theater. Now it's the Sondheim Theater.
Nice.
In London. So that's something special to take the kids back, to be like, hey, this is where it all started.
Nice, man. That's so cool. So how is it like? What's the difference between lifestyles here?
Oh yeah.
And over there? Because I mean, I grew up in Mexico until like I was like 16, so I can tell you the difference in lifestyle. Obviously, Mexico is not like Europe, right? It has it's beautiful, but the quality of life can be a little bit different. So what's the difference between United States and London, like England specifically?
Yeah. England's. I mean, we spent most of our time there, but it was quite the culture shock. There's I think the easiest way to describe it is that everything is just bigger in the States.
Okay.
From the size of the drinks to the roads to the buildings, you just have more space.
Yeah. Okay.
Or even space around you.
Got it.
I just remember walking down the streets of London or going down into the tube where the subway was, and everybody's just
bumping
it back and around. You're just getting hit around like a pinball.
Wow.
And you're like, bro, hey, come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you touching me?
But to them, it's normal.
To them, it's just totally normal. Like, didn't even phase them. I was like, oh, I guess that's okay here.
Here you start.
I still remember the first time I got hit. I was like,
"What's up,
come
bro?
Come on, man! Yeah." You turn around and look at him. He didn't even turn around. But then it happens again. You're like, oh, I guess we just run into each other. I guess
it's just part of that.
Part
of the culture here.
Yeah, these towns were designed hundreds of years ago.
Hundreds of years ago.
Existed and
here, bumping shoulders is a fight. Like you'll fight that.
Yeah, like that's not cool.
For a fight.
That's not cool, right?
Like, nah, man, I'm sorry. I was just lucky. That was
the biggest difference. But yeah, it's culturally, it's obviously.
Who drinks more?
Oh, more alcohol?
Yeah.
Outside of college, there was a lot of alcohol consumption in London.
In London, yeah.
There was a lot. And I will tell you, it's really interesting you asked about culture. When I was there 20 years ago, I felt like the difference in cultures were much more defined between like what the States, like beverages drank or what food you eat or what music or, but when we went back, I think it was three or 4 years ago now, I think it was right before COVID.
Yeah. I
approached one of the residents as she was coming out, and turns out she had lived there still.
Wow.
That whole time, like when she, I don't think she remembered us specifically, but she's like, oh yeah, performers, this is a certain building that they would rent out flats here. And, and we were one of them. Right.
Okay.
It was really close to Covent Garden, which is like a really well-known, like central area to London where there's shops and it's kind of bougie. But yeah, she said the same thing. She said, yeah, it's just like, this is not the London
that you
I
remember.
Moved to. Yeah. And it's just everything was commercialized. And it reminded me of New York a little bit, where they shut down some of the streets.
Yeah.
And just made it like walking only, which I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it just turns into commercialization. I just remember there being more little niche little bookstores. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that bookstore, I think one of them was still there. And it's like, where did that go?
Yeah.
You know, now there's literally like a Starbucks there.
Wow.
Or, yeah, like it was a little sad.
Like a McDonald's and
Yeah.
you see those.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
it had changed.
It has changed. Yeah, I totally get that. Same happens, I think, everywhere, right? Like just corporations, they're just expanding, and it's like
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
that's business, right?
yeah, it's business, and they're just like looking to get into different markets, and
Right.
and they do that everywhere. Yeah, but that's cool. I never been to London, so that's why I keep asking like the difference of
Yeah.
because I haven't always been interested in traveling. And this is something that I have planned out for starting hopefully end of this year and next year and the following year. I'm planning to like go more places. Go to the first place that I'll go. I think that I'm planning to go this year is New York. Never been there. So
Really?
yeah, never been there, man. And I'm like a huge comic book fan. So for Marvel, like
Oh
that's
my
like
gosh.
that's like yeah, I'm gonna see Spider-Man swinging around.
Yeah.
You know?
It's going to blow your mind.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember I grew up in Pittsburgh,
Okay.
and I had my aunt and uncle and my cousins lived in New Jersey,
Okay.
outside of Philadelphia, and I went to visit them one summer for, well, I think it was the better part of a week, but they were only a couple hours from the city. So
Yeah.
we drove up and we went and saw a show. I think I actually saw Les Mis when it was on Broadway. And I just remember as you approach the city and you cross over the bridge, or I can't remember which bridge it was, but you know, it's the size and scope of the city just blew my mind. I've never seen anything like it. That many buildings,
That many
tall
buildings. Yeah. Wow.
And that's something you just don't really get in Europe. You just don't.
Yeah.
I think they really value. They try to keep that in check. You know, of like the heritage of like they want the taller buildings to be those historical buildings for them. London, that has changed a little bit. They have a few kind of weird looking, honestly, architecturally weird looking buildings that somehow they allowed to be built. You know? But the other cities I've been to, like Paris and Rome, and you know, you just don't see a whole lot of skyscrapers, at least not in like the historical downtown areas. I think they do try to keep that.
Yeah, the all cities they try to keep them all like historical, and the new ones I'm guessing they're kind of built. And England is not too big, right?
It's an island.
It's an island.
It's one. You know, England is one of the members of the UK, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You got England, you got Wales, you got Scotland,
Scotland and all that. Yeah, so it's not also like big, but also my understanding is like they do have a lot of empty land, right?
They do, yeah. They have a lot of countryside. Yeah, I was really surprised. Well, at least 20 years ago when I well, actually, you know, when we were there, we made a friend with one of the stage managers in the show we were in, and she lived in St. Albans City, a little bit out of town there. Shout out to Christy. Thanks for letting us crash. We went and spent some time with her, and, you know, just taking the train out. I forget how long the train ride was, you know, maybe 45 minutes or something, just like a commute, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of empty countryside still.
That's incredible.
Yeah, really a lot. You know, we went when we were there, you know, for the first time around, we went to Stonehenge, which is in the middle of, I think, Salisbury Plain, which
is that like which area? Is that like by Wales or by?
I don't remember because we took a train out.
Okay, is Wales faces Ireland, right?
Yeah, I think Wales is more west.
More west, right?
From London, yeah. I think Stonehenge is just a little more north, if I remember. It might be west. Doesn't matter. Okay. But lots of empty land. Wow. Lots of empty land. You know, I was really surprised. Like, this place has been inhabited since in modern days since by the Romans. You know, we went to the Roman baths that are still there, the ruins of them. You know, and it's like, and it's still not crazy built out. Yeah, you know, you come to some of these cities out west here, even the States. You know, the whole Eastern Seaboard is just like connected. Yeah, you know. But even out here where they're, you know, the big cities out here, the suburbs, you know, are just like sprawling.
Yeah.
And you don't see you just see little towns and villages still out there, it seems like, you know.
Got it. Okay. That's nice. What do you think is that it might be because they're like kind of encourage people to gather in like the hub cities, you know, like London, what other city will be a big, like whatever, Liverpool, right? Is that another big city?
Where in the UK?
UK, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like they try to keep people in the cities so they can still have land. Is like something that their government might be doing
I don't
purposely.
know if that's an intentional thing. I mean, I'm sure that some of their policy dictates those migrant patterns.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know if they're trying to keep it that way with certain policies. I would think so, because policy really matters.
Cool. Yeah. And have you bought any of the land that kind of like makes you a lord? Have you seen those websites that you buy like a feet of this land and that makes you a lord? Lord Dave. Lord Dave's.
Well, I'm the lord of my kingdom here in Escondido. So,
there you go.
Yeah. I think that's kind of gimmicky stuff.
Gimmicky,
I mean, there's companies out there selling land on the moon. Seriously, like you can buy your little section of the moon because it's, I think it falls under some weird loophole where it's like maritime law or something, because it's like, I'm going to go stake a claim. This is ours now. It's like, that's also just a gimmick. So you can put a little certificate on your
I thought that no government or people were allowed to own the moon. I thought that was like Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
Like nobody has the right to own it or country to claim it.
There's you should look it up.
Yeah,
there's like a thing where it's like, hey, it falls under this international thing.
Okay.
This supposedly can be yours. Yeah, well, good luck ever getting there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think
that falls in the same category of you can be a lord.
You can be that's true. Yeah. Because I know that in Antarctica, no country is allowed to own it, and it's just kept as like a research.
I think you're right. It's like a research area.
Yeah, so
but I think like these governments had to come together and say, yes, we all agree to this.
We all agree to this,
no one's going to want to, colonize Antarctica. I think how ridiculously expensive it would be.
Expensive, yeah.
And for what resources? Ice.
Ice, yeah. Well, they have found like minerals like under the ice, so they've been like drilling a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was reading an article about that like they're kind of finding like a lot of minerals, because the ice kind of like froze. There's still land under it,
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like theories out there about Antarctica and stuff like that. Are you a theories guy? Like, are you like, well, not like, so there's theories that like are based on like well thought,
like a conspiracy theorist.
But that conspiracy theories tend to be more like okay, where's the foundation for that, right? Theories are like what's the name that you do? What is it that you do when you finish college, and so you can get
like your practicum or your training.
It's before like it has a process. So
I think of music. I think of like student teaching or something.
Student teaching. So before something becomes a theory, it's a
it's a hypothesis.
Hypothesis, yeah. It's a hypothesis. But to a hypothesis become a theory, you need to have some sort of like proof to it.
That's right.
And then it becomes law, like the law of gravity, right? We know it's a law because you fall. Okay, I'm seeing it.
Right.
Yeah. It's not the theory of gravity; it's the law of gravity. Right?
Yeah, well, it's like a mathematical proof as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So So do you believe like in any like conspiracy theories, which are more like, oh, I heard that somebody saw an alien there, and there's no like actual proofs.
Well, I've got a lot of crazy theories, but no, I mean, I can't think of anything.
There's some conspiracy theories that I hear them and I'm like, okay. I mean, they have like, they know.
Well, a lot of the theories, I mean, a lot of it's like political, right? Like
100%.
The something like the Illuminati is controlling everything, or it's like, I don't buy into that stuff too much, because it's like, this day and age with just cameras and recording devices everywhere, man, people are not that good at keeping secrets. If there's some puppet master behind the scene, I just logically, I just can't get into some of those, far out
theories.
Yeah, I just
conspiracy theories.
No, and that aligns with me with Sasquatch or aliens, or it's like, man, there's everybody has a camera in their pocket now, man. If this stuff was happening, somebody would get a good video and not some grainy whatever thing.
I thought you had a 4K iPhone.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel like, you know, I mean, that's recent. That's within, what the last 10, 15 years that everybody has a recording device on them. And a lot of these things that and people believed in, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I think there'd be some physical proof.
Yeah.
So...
And also,
but that's my theory.
That's your theory, yeah. And also for videos, the thing with videos is that all these editing softwares are so good nowadays.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
that you can make it look
that is true.
realistic.
You know, that's right. You know, with deep fake, you can put people's faces on other people's heads, and you know, it's so good now. You know, and it's like, if you really wanted to convince somebody, maybe we're at that point where you could, you know, but nobody's even doing that. Yeah. Like, here's an alien abduction. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, gotcha. It was fake. It was AI.
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
Right?
And that's I don't know, like, with AI, you know, that's like these new AI tools. And there's this tool that you can literally write a song and have Tupac rap the song.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy. I heard of it.
Where is this?
Right, it's called AI music or something like that.
Oh my god!
So pretty much any song, and even if it existing song or any song that you write, like, you can just have Tupac do a feature.
We need to be doing this.
We need to.
Soul Home needs a rap station.
A rap, heck yeah. We should totally do have Tupac, you know, making Soul Homes.
Yeah, that's right.
Lyrics. 100%. It's so funny because I was listening to it. You can have Tupac feature with Katy Perry or Taylor Swift. Not that I don't think that will ever happen, but in real life.
Well, I wonder what are there any licensing implications with that?
So far there's not. I mean, only
you know, Katy Perry's cool, like, you know, getting all into Soul Home, and
that's you know
what
thing.
I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. They seem like they're still figuring it out. It seems like right now there's not like any restrictions for it right now, unless you commercialize it.
Right. Yeah.
Then I think they go after you.
Okay.
Right.
We'll just call it parody.
Right? Parody. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And then we're good.
You know, we're perfectly fine.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is just crazy, man. Like how technology is advancing, and that's why we go. All these conspiracies, like, but can you really? You can really fake that, like, you know, have you seen new movies? They look so real, like they make actors look younger now, and they look like nothing. Yeah, you know,
you wouldn't even know.
You didn't even know
that they did it.
Yeah, they did the Superman, the mustache, like a few years ago, and you were able to kind of. He looks weird a little bit, but nowadays you. Like the technology has been just been becoming better and better.
And it requires less and less people now.
Less and less people.
You know, you look at like the credits roll for Endgame, or I mean, you know, I feel like it requires less people, which means less labor for the studios, right, to create probably a better result. You know? But that's technology, right? Yeah,
and that's exactly what it is, and I mean, we are utilizing tools like it's not perfect, you know, it's not like. Like fancy or like advanced as sometimes people try to sell it, because we've been trying to utilize that.
So you've actually kind of maybe messed around with a little of those products, huh?
Yeah, we have been messing around with some of them, and they're not perfect, like, but I'm pretty sure they will be way better in like a couple of years from now. But as right now, we still had to find like workarounds and things like that, you know, for some other things. But yeah, man, it's just you can fake anything, you know. Go back to that. It's like it's kind of tough unless I see it here. It's like, okay,
yeah, unless you are physically experiencing it.
Exactly.
And even that's going to be able to be replicated at some point, right?
Exactly.
It's like Ready Player One.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Ready Player One. The whole thing, like you're immersing. He needed. Who was it? Nolan Sorrento didn't know if he was in the real world or not when they were trying to trick him. You know.
Yeah.
Like it's like, man, that would be nuts. Like if it's that good.
It's that good.
I don't know if I'm sitting here with you right now.
Exactly.
Or if this is some projection on some goggles I'm wearing. Right?
Dude, that's
what kind of headphones are these anyway?
Yeah, right. Dude, it's crazy because I think that's where we're going. You know, I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, there's been, look at Meta. You know, even Google, you know, they're starting to come out with these VR.
Yeah.
they're pushing hard into that.
Now, like engineers, I think engineers gonna have a lot of work. You know, I think marketers still gonna have a lot of work.
Marketing, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because you still need people to know how to utilize those tools. You get me?
absolutely, yeah. There's always, they're like, oh my gosh, is this like Terminator, where AI is going to take? It's like, no, you're always going to have people.
Yeah, you kind of need to.
that,
Yeah,
you know.
it's just that maybe instead of needing 20 people, you might only need 5.
Exactly, it's like it's a force multiplier.
Exactly. So you just need to know how to utilize the technology and evolve with it. And
Right.
that's it, you know.
And embrace it.
And embrace it. Yeah. Exactly. So talking about technology, man. So let's jump into Soul Home.
Okay.
Right. We talk a little bit about your background. You say you're from Pittsburgh, right, Pennsylvania. So then you started traveling. And before we start with Soul Home, something I wanted to ask you was like, so what made you decide to stay in San Diego specifically?
There were a couple things. I mean, I just fell in love with the area.
Okay.
When I was stationed here, it's hard not to, right? For those of us that live here and people who have visited, there's so many amazing things you can do.
Yeah.
Even within a few hours of town, right? And I saw opportunity, going into the business I wanted to go into. That was a big thing. It started off with basically real estate, buying homes and rehabbing homes, and this was in 2008, so right before everything came crashing down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely got into that buzz of trying to do. That's when they were like property flipping shows on, whatever. I don't know if it was HGTV then, but I remember that was a big thing, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, my wife's family, Jessica's family, they live in Southern California.
Okay.
Or most of them at least. So that was a big draw, or important to us, and especially her to be local. And there was no reason, I couldn't come up with a reason not to live here.
Yeah.
Or to go back to Pittsburgh. It was just night and day.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's a great town. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
It really is. In fact, we're going back there this fall for a Steelers game. Can't wait.
Nice.
So I am still a big Steelers fan.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hard habit to break.
Yeah.
But
I bet.
other than the sports, which that's not my industry. I mean, the Southern California, it's just, it's just kind of hard to go wrong.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here, and it's a lot of amazing people here too, specifically here in San Diego.
Yeah, and I think you find more like-minded, ambitious people, and that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
Is being entrepreneurial. And maybe I'm giving Pittsburgh a bad rap because I was a musician when I lived in Pittsburgh. I wasn't exactly an entrepreneur. I'm sure there's plenty of entrepreneurial people out there, but I feel that the community that is ambitious and looking to explore those opportunities here is just huge.
Yeah,
it's huge. There's so many people that just want to
grow
and make things better, and don't just want to be okay with where they're at. There's a lot of people, like, if we're not growing, we're shrinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and,
a lot of people.
And physically, a lot of these East Coast towns, they are shrinking. There's people leaving.
Yeah.
The populations are getting smaller. We're out here. It's definitely on an upward growth trend.
Yeah. Yeah, you become what you surround yourself with, right? So if you surround yourself with a lot of people, like business owners, entrepreneurs, that's you start kind of gaining that same thought process and learning from them. And
and I, especially in this last year, I've really, I think one of the ways I met you was through just formal business networking.
Yeah.
And just purposefully meeting other business owners, just to be like, hey, here I am.
I am here. Yeah, I'm active.
Right. What do you do? Here's what I do. Oh, here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm here on a podcast today.
Yeah.
Because, of that.
Yeah.
And I think what blows me away is, I think I just had it in my head when I was younger, before I intentionally started growing the business, that, everybody was just competing. Everybody's out to get each other. And man, I've made friends with other solar company owners, and we just bounce ideas off each other, and it's very collaborative, surprisingly. I mean, everybody has their close guarded secrets, right?
Yeah.
But in general, I think there's a feeling of abundance of, hey, there's so many roofs out there.
Yeah.
So many homes, there's no possible way I could do. Let's
Yeah.
help each other
Exactly.
get a little more of the pie.
Like the sun shines for everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think I have the same belief before, say that like competitors like, oh, they want to know what I'm doing. But now that I'm like been doing this, like I have friends that they literally do like this exact same thing as I do.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're friends and we collaborate and we work together,
Right.
and I have some of them that they hire me to help them with
Right.
some stuff that they lack. You know.
Yeah.
And I ask for advice from them and some other stuff. You know, we help each other out.
That's right. And, even though I guess you would be considered competitors, well, it's like you're kind of not. You have something unique. You have you, right? They have themselves.
Yeah.
Right. I have me.
You have you, yeah.
And my team, right? And it sounds like you're kind of building a team too.
Yeah.
Which is great. So the people in your team and the people in your room really matter. You're going to set the tone.
Yeah.
As the owner of how the company feels, how it approaches problems. We hired a guy, or Troy is my project manager. He hired a solar installer yesterday, and the applicant was there a little early. I would just happen to be out in the office talking with Leslie, our office manager, about whatever business stuff, and he was just there, and I just started, hey man, tell me a little about you, what you're doing, and he did, and one of the questions he asked me before the formal interview started was, so tell me about what's kind of the culture of your company, and more or less, right? Like, how do you, what's the tone of your business?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm the owner.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pretty chill. Yeah. I'm not one to, rah, rah, or I'm not overly, cheerleader-ish, or I'm not yelling at people. I'm not that kind of boss where I'm going to put people down to get results. That's not my style.
Yeah.
And that trickles down through my staff.
Through your staff, yeah, because they repeat that. You like lead by example, kind of.
And you do, in this applicant, he's a younger guy, and he was like, that's great, because the company I just came from, that's not how it was. It was very much like, why don't you know that? He's like, dude, I just started.
Yeah, I started yesterday.
I was like, no, I'm not looking for. I want collaboration. This is, we're all in this together.
And we figure it out together. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. That philosophy too. I try to do the same.
What really, I've told other people this story. I watched a documentary on Disney. Now we're talking about Disney again, right?
Yeah.
And
we're not sponsored by Disney.
We are not.
But if you want to, Disney.
That's right.
Feel free.
We're here for you.
Yeah.
But I remember watching a documentary, but basically how it got started, and through the years up through present day. And the one thing that stuck with me was when Walt passed away. I think it was either the late 70s or early, I think it might have been the 80s. But I remember one of the board members at the time said, Walt died, and they're all at a board meeting, and they are all looking at each other like, well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
I mean, that one guy that built that big of an empire, set the tone
for
everything. And they were like, now I couldn't believe it, because I was like growing my business, and I'm like, I want to grow myself out of my business so it can run without me, and it's just automatic. It's a machine in this. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could be an absentee owner, but I just don't think that's a sustainable way to run a business if you want it to be around. If you're an owner, and you're the CEO, and you really do set the tone for everything.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me.
That's
because what you do matters.
Yeah. That's huge. You hit a really good point there, because I think you're right. You set the tone for everything. Yeah. Because the way that you behave, your kind of employees will emulate that, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, and I'll hire employees that have those qualities.
Yeah.
That I want my customers to see.
Exactly. Which is very important, right? When you're hiring somebody.
They represent you.
Yeah. Which, like, I'm in the process of hiring somebody. And I'm just, for once, I'm like, I always have things to do. So sometimes I've been putting it like a little in the back burner.
Yeah.
But I have interviewed like several people, and out of all of them, just like a couple of them kind of like stick with me. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's this one of them, this chick that she's moving from Oregon, I think. And then she's like, hey, I'm interested, and like she's been very active. So I kind of like that when
Yeah.
somebody's like that, because I'm like that.
Right. And that's one of the things I told the applicant yesterday. He's like, well, we're looking for people that are ambitious.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the cheapest whatever labor to just be on a roof for the next 10 years. I want people that want more.
Yeah.
Because they're going to fill those shoes of the roles above them as they move up. And as I move up,
Exactly.
It's like a feeder program.
Exactly.
We want people that want more.
They want more. Yeah. So, that's a great point, man. Great leadership skills right there. And I think, personally, I still have a lot to learn about it, but I'm, doing my best. So, all right. So let's, can you believe that we've been talking for an hour now?
That is crazy.
That's crazy. Conversation goes fast, huh?
You make it easy, Tony.
Yeah, you're good to talk to. You're fun to talk to. So yeah. So before we wrap it up, just tell me more about Soul Home. So when did you start it, and how that happened?
Yeah, so I was getting out of the Navy. We bought a rental property of 3 units, and then we bought a house here in San Diego, and I learned basically how to do remodeling, right? Doing just hands-on DIY trades, right?
Yeah.
I had never even painted before. My dad might have made me paint once.
Yeah.
If he did, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But just learning from nothing, but that's always been a passion of mine, is just learning new things, and I like working with my hands.
Okay.
So that just worked out really well for me. So that, we were trying to flip some homes, and, the market kind of took a dump. So we ended up just holding on to them. We've since sold them later after the market came back. But so that's kind of how I cut my teeth on it was remodeling. That's how it started. And I started that before I got out of the Navy.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's what gave me, I said, you know what? And lucky enough, my brother-in-law, Mario, shout out to Mario. He actually had been a contractor for several years, like building homes, and so he gave me a lot of guidance. And kind of helped me. And him and I did a job together where we built an addition for a house out in Santee out here. And then from there, I went and got my own general license, and I booked up some work, to just enough to get out of the Navy, and that was terrifying, actually, because I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, I want to start a business. I want to work for myself. This Navy thing is not for me.
Yeah.
As far as it was very sterile. A very sterile environment, and I see a lot of people that get a lot of satisfaction out of that. It just wasn't. I just wasn't one of them. I said, you know what? For the next 16 years of my life, I think I could do, for me, better.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be true.
Cool.
So I started doing remodeling for people, and that's how the business started. So in 2009, I actually got. I was licensed, I think, the year before. And then in 2009, we actually incorporated. So we build San Diego. That's how it started. And I just started hiring people and figuring out that whole thing. That's kind of sucks sometimes, trying to hire people, But I still have our delivery driver, or logistics, as he likes to call it, Justin. He still works for us, and it's been about 13 years. We were known as We Build San Diego for a long time, actually up until last year. And, and the business grew kind of organically with referrals, and, we didn't really do any advertising. But I just found, hey, if you do good work and you take care of your customer, people are just going to refer you. Yeah. And that was good. That was great up until a couple years ago. And sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
There we go.
Yeah.
I just had a burp. It was good. Yeah. I mean, that worked for, 10 plus years. Until the business was getting so big, and I didn't know how to grow a business, and I was trying to do everything still, as far as like micromanaging all the projects, and I was miserable, to be honest. And I said, you know what, I either got to stop doing this and do something else, or I have to grow myself out of the business. Yeah. So I intentionally, it was about 3 years ago, said, okay, I'm gonna learn. And it was just books after podcast after podcast, started hiring, putting the right butts in the right seats, identifying Troy's my project manager, putting him in his role, We were lucky to find Leslie to help with the office, and then even Ian's been working with us for about 10 years.
Wow.
He was out in the field, and I said, hey, I think you could do sales,
Yeah.
for the remodel side of the business, which
Nice.
he still does today. And the remodel side of the business is kicking butt still,
Yeah.
even though we're Soul Home, we're not solar home, right? We're Soul,
Yeah.
so we do offer home remodeling.
So home. Yeah.
Even though I'm more intentionally growing the solar, home energy, battery, HVAC, home energy side of the business.
Nice.
I just see that being a massive market.
Yeah.
And it has worked for us. So, it's been quite the ride. So last year we said, you know what, this We Build San Diego thing doesn't really tell people what we do,
Yeah.
or all the services we do. So we engaged a marketing company and went through thousands of different names and logos and colors. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
And this is the brand, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, it looks very nice. Yeah.
Appreciate that. We're having our vehicles wrapped right now. Actually,
Yeah,
one of them being wrapped. The van's done, so that's out there moving billboard. Right. It's been life changing.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the trucks. You sent me a picture.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And you're like very forward thinking too. So with marketing, you like saw a need and just like, let me just see somebody help me with this need. And it explains everything that you did with with Leslie and the other employees. Like, okay, I cannot do everything anymore because I'm just too much.
It wasn't fair to my family.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fair even to the clients. The reality is having a team of people. I've tried to put people in those seats that do it better than I did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have my own shortcomings.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's worked out really well. But you still have to steer the ship, right? You still have to
kind of direct
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, we had to wrap it off, but before we go, why don't you look at that camera and then just tell us how to find you and how to find more about Soul Home.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. So, Dave Pollock again here with Soul Home in Escondido. You can go to our website at www.mysoulhome.com. That's probably the best and easiest way to reach us. You can give us a call, 619-333-4824 if you want to request a quote or have any questions. And, of course, thanks to Tony. We're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram. So you can hit up our pages there, and we will respond.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for sharing this time with us, with me and the viewers soon to be when this comes out. Well, guys, thank you for watching another episode of With the Boys podcast. You guys know what to do. You find us on YouTube. Go there, ring that bell, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell us what you like about this podcast. If you have questions for Dave, shoot him there. Contact him directly. All right, follow us on Instagram. All right, go follow us there. We provide a lot of information. We bring people that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that have done it. They're doing it, so you guys can learn how to do it as well. All right, guys, so thank you. Have a great day. Peace.